Ikaw ba ay nangangate sa low carb? Bakit ito nangyari at paano ito iwasan? This is your Diet Doctora, Dr. Josephine Grace Rohotan, at yun yung pag-uusapan natin today. Ang pangangate sa low carb, especially kapag ginawa ito with fasting, ay dahil sa too much ketone productions ng katawan na habang hindi pa ito fully fat adapted. Ano ang ibig sabihin nito? You were so excited sa pag-low carb at pagpa-fasting habang ikaw ay hindi pa handa sa pagkakaroon ng ketones as a source of energy. So yung nangyayari, you are producing way too much ketones than your body can accommodate. Because if first timer kayo sa low carb and fasting, most likely, sanay na sanay yung katawan ninyo sa paggamit ng glucose as energy. So, the moment you do low carb and fasting, biglang nag-shoot up yung ketone production. However, yung muscles ninyo, yung brain ninyo, and many other parts of your body is hindi pa sanay sa paggamit ng ketones as a source of energy. It will take a while depending on your metabolism. So generally, nasa 1 to 2 weeks bago ka maging fat adapted. So ano yung pwedeng gawin para ito ay maiwasan? So the first thing that you can do is actually just eat more proteins and not fats. The moment you do low carb, which I trust na tama yung ginawa ninyong way of low carb, ay damihan yung protein intake. Huwag masyadong sobrang dami sa fats, especially yung mga pag-take ng MCT oil, ng virgin coconut oil na supplement, that might lead into further ketone production na baka hindi pa sanay yung katawan nyo to use. Especially if meron pa kayong fats to lose, if meron pang belly fats, meron pang taba na pwedeng matunaw, those can be used as well. Gamitin muna yung taba sa katawan bago magkonsumo ng sobrang taba from your food. So one thing that you can do is eat more proteins. However, be careful lang sa kind of proteins kasi iba, especially for those with hypersensitivity, the proteins are also their source of allergens. So parang naha-heightened yung kanyang previous allergies. So common allergens would be poultry products, chicken, eggs, and also to some extent certain nuts. But hindi pa ako nakarinig na merong allergic sa pork or beef. So you can choose either of those kung ano yung allowed ninyo. But more in this topic is the importance of consuming more proteins and not fats so that slowly yung pag-a-adapt ninyo. You'll have proteins and you can get energy from there. It can be converted into glucose habang kayo ay nagiging fat adapted pa. And later on, your body can just use up those fats, make ketones that are just enough yung kaya lang ma-accommodate ng inyong katawan. Because if nagpa-fasting kayo and very, very high fat yung kinakain ninyo, not just low carb, but keto level, ibig sabihin 60 to 70% of what you are eating based on calories ay nanggagaling sa taba, then you are bound to make all of those ketones na baka hindi pa kayang i-accommodate ng inyong katawan. So it can be a waste on your urine and also it can occur in your skin. So the moment na ikaw ay pagpawisan, lalabas yung mga extra ketones dyan and that can cause histamine sensitivity from those ketones. So magkakaroon ng pangangate, yung tinatawag natin keto rash. So what else you can do after increasing more on your proteins and not on fats is wear lighter clothes para hindi magkaroon ng sobrang pag-build up ng pawis. And then kapag yung pawis kasi na kung saan nandyan yung mga ketones at kapag sila ay nag-stay lang in your body, if you are wearing clothes that are very humid, nakakainit ng katawan all the more, then the keto rash might be exacerbated. You can think of it as parang bungang araw. So the more you have those, the more mainit yung inyong pakiramdam and you're wearing very, very heavy clothes, even very sunny, then you can have more profound na pangangate in your katawan. So just wear lighter clothes when you can. And of course, speaking of pawis, we can also put a pause on your exercise. Usually, sa mga nagsisimulang mag-low carb, I don't recommend doing strenuous exercise on the first 2 weeks. Focus muna on low carb nutrition focus muna on proper eating and your exercise can wait. You can actually feel na ready na kayong mag-exercise when you have this sudden surge of energy na parang kailangan mo talagang gamitin. So, this exercise can wait because if you are just starting low carb tapos sobrang taas ng iyong fat intake, nagpa-fasting pa kayo, and then you are also going to do exercise, your body will actually increase in metabolism. However, yung inyong muscles are still not adapted to fats. Mangangailangan siya ng energy. So your body will tend to increase the production of ketones since you are on low carb and fasting. However, your muscles hindi pa siya sanay na gamitin yung ketones na yon. So it will still give you that hunger and it will give you that urge to eat glucose, to eat carbohydrates. However, you will be producing more and more ketones that can lead into more pangangate and other keto flu na symptoms. So parang magkakasakit ka, parang ka nagkaka-flu, nagkakaroon ng ketone breath, 3 plus 4 plus 5 na yung ketones in your urine. And those might be counterproductive when it comes to your overall health goal. Baka ma-discourage kayo sa inyong low carb and fasting lifestyle simply because you didn't do it so right the first time. And number 4 that you can do para maiwasan yung pangangate in low carb would be avoiding over fasting. Again, during the first 2 weeks, as much as you do not force yourself to exercise, all the more, hindi nyo rin kailangan i-force yung over fasting. Just a minimum of 12 hours of fasting, circadian fasting in a day is already enough. So, tama na yung last meal niyo would be 4 to 6 hours before your bedtime and matulog kayo overnight fast the morning after you wake up around 12 hours after your last meal, ay pwede na kayong kumain. So you don't need to force yourself, especially don't do over fasting habang kayo ay nagsisimula pa lang. And lastly, the fifth strategy natin para iwasan yung pangangati sa low carb would be just very simple. Increase your electrolyte intake, especially salt. Kung kayo ay hindi naman sensitive sa salt, hindi naman kayo nagmamanas, hindi tumataas yung BP with higher salt intake together with low carb nutrition, you can increase your salt from 1 to 3 teaspoons in a day. So when you do that, based on our experience and studies, mas kakaunti rin yung keto side effect when you are making sure that you have enough electrolytes in your system. So other electrolytes, aside from salt, would be potassium, sodium, and calcium. But generally, if you will ensure your proper salt intake sa simula, then you less likely need to supplement with those other electrolytes. You can just get them from their natural source. So as an announcement, before we end on our short video on pangangate sa low carb, paano ito iwasan, announcement lang po. Again, scam po yung meal mix nuts na nilalagay na nakikita ninyo on your screens from time to time on your Facebook and even in YouTube na gumagamit ng ating videos illegally. So if you wish to know more, if you are a true follower of low carb nutrition and fasting, alam nyong hindi kailangan ng mga meal replacement na yan because the real nutrition comes from real food. So for more structured learning program, it's on sale for only 500 pesos. You can learn how to manage diabetes, hypertension, fatty liver, and many more at www.lcfmasterclass.com. And for personalized assessment, appointments, and other things related to yours truly, more info po at www.jgrtanmd.com. So yun lang muna for now. Maraming salamat. That's our short video for today, how to avoid pangangate sa low carb. This is your diet Dr. Dr. Josephine Grace Rohotan. Always remember to stay low carb so that we all stay safe. Bye!